Welcome to another episode of Nine and Numb at Home. This is another very special episode because we have got one of our casts from the past here. This is the cast that we like to lovingly refer to as Nine and Numb 5.0. This is the fifth generation of Nine and Numb that played at the Fire Hall Theater up in Grand Forks, North Dakota. How is everybody doing?
Great!
Great to see you guys. It's been a while. Fantastic. So who have we got with us here? Let's do a quick count off here, or a head count, if you will. Who's with us here?
Hi, I'm Megan.
Hi, Megan.
It's nice to see y'all again. I miss you guys, honestly.
Excellent.
I'm Carrie. Hi, guys.
Hi, Carrie.
Cole here. Hello.
Hello, Cole. Robert's here. Hello, Robert.
Hey, Robert.
There he is.
Hello.
Jerry.
And I'm Jerry.
Hi, Jerry. How you doing? Kaylee has joined us as well.
Hey, you guys.
Hello, Kaylee. Excellent.
Nice to see you guys. I haven't seen you guys. Well, some of you guys in a very long time.
It's been a very long time for some of you. Yeah.
Yes, oh my God, you guys.
Let's get started here. I'm going to ask you guys some questions here. First off, what have we been up to since the end of Nine and Numb Grand Forks, the 5.0? I believe that ended in 2016, so that's been 4 years now. What have we been up to? Let's chat.
Just been working, you know.
Been working?
Yeah. Just
Who's still in Grand Forks right now? Raise your hand.
I am.
Megan's still in Grand Forks.
It's just me, I guess.
Everybody else parted ways, so to speak.
Yeah.
That's cool. That's cool. Cole, what have you been up to, man?
Well, I got married, made a baby, but what I really want to tell you guys is a story. Me and my wife, we traveled. We went to Asia, right? Before this craziness happened, we went to some spot called like Wuhan or something, and we were there. And this guy approached me, and we were eating all these different foods. And this guy approached me, and he was like in like military fatigues for some reason. That's weird. That just must be like the custom. It was really interesting.
I should keep a whiteboard. I should keep a whiteboard behind me for all of the instances I'm about to get sued for. So click this one. Jesus Christ.
You haven't changed.
Cole, we miss you.
The first story you're going to come out with is going to be a COVID story.
Yes.
Carrie,
Yes.
what have you been up to?
I moved to, I want everybody to guess. Just kidding. I moved to Utah about 3 years ago, and now I go to school for audiology. I started grad school. I'm in my third year right now. I've got about 2 years left, and then I'm done.
Utah, did you get some magic underpants and join the choir? Or?
You know, I declined. I thought about it for a minute, but yeah.
It is a thought. It's
been seeked out by Mormons.
You know, I have not been approached, but my boyfriend has taught me a lot of different things right now, and I'm just taking in everything that I can. I think North Dakota is definitely my home. But it's good to be back for a while. I had my favorite wines sent to me because they can't be shipped to Utah, so I had about 24 bottles.
Bro,
It's been a long time. The grocery store's about the liquor store's about
It's awesome.
My bedroom.
Oh wow,
it's good to be back.
Nice. Robert, what have you been up to, man?
Oh, geez. Moved to Minnesota, so I'm not that far from Grand Forks. I'm 4 hours from Megan down there. But really, in the 4 years, moved to the airlines, flying people around until Cole decided to bring some bat soup along and decided
It's Cole's fault, man.
Damn it, Cole.
Have a soup party.
Soup. Sharing culture.
Not that I have anything to say about bats or anything, but hey, this isn't code.
Stop eating bats. They're cute.
Jerry, what have you been up to?
Oh, it's been great. I just, my wife and I just celebrated our 10-year anniversary yesterday.
Woo!
10th anniversary.
I was gonna ask, how y'all been doing?
awesome.
It was awesome. We went to a local zoo where you can feed and pet animals, and it was a lot of fun.
Did you pet bats? Are we just doing that every time now?
I bit their heads off.
Okay, Ozzy. Okay.
There you go.
Okay.
Yeah.
I can vibe with
You
that.
know, those drive me nuts. I
No,
heard
but-
you hurt like a biatch.
Kaylee.
Great.
But I mean, I guess if it was for like the moment, it was worth it, right?
So, Kaylee, what have you been
it's
up
like
to?
Shark Fin or something.
What have you been up to, Kaylee?
I'm in Minneapolis. I live in Southeast Minneapolis.
Okay.
Been a bartender, just pretty much just going kayaking. I got sunburnt to like the 2nd degree this summer, so that kind of sucks.
God.
Right, my first kayaking trip. Yeah, so that
sucks.
Especially since I'm so white.
Hey, man, I live in Florida, and imagine living with this skin tone in Florida. That's a damn nightmare.
That cool white tone.
Holy hell.
I couldn't do that. I'm already in Minnesota, and I'm getting burnt.
Ugh. No.
But I actually don't live that far away from Robert. We've hung out once. We're going to hang out more.
Nice. Good to see you guys are still hanging out together in some capacity or another. That's awesome. So I'm going to ask you guys this then. So this group started
Wait, Kelly, how are you?
Yeah.
Oh, my.
What are you up to?
Oh, okay.
For real.
Well, everybody who watches at home knows where I'm at. I'm in Tampa, Florida. Been still doing Nine and Numb. This is our 20th year of doing Nine and Numb, as we have mentioned in other videos. Yeah, it's our 20th year, and so that's why we're doing these special events or these special episodes here, so I can talk with some of the casts that we have had over the past 20 years. A fun fact that I've mentioned in other videos, we have had over 150 Nine and Numb players come and go over the last 20 years.
That's amazing.
That's so great.
It's a
I would have
lot
had
of
no
players
idea.
to cover.
Yeah.
We haven't talked to all of them, obviously, because some of them have just kind of fallen off the planet, and I haven't been in any kind of connection with them at all. Most of them are on Facebook. What's that?
It's the flat Earth theory. They're just going off the edge. It's
just went off the edge.
Peace, man.
That's not a flat Earth theory. It's not an edge. It's a realm. Hello.
Since I can't mention any
Right.
names. My shower curtain, hot water and cold water knobs I saw at an antique shop like 2 weeks ago. Do you guys know who I'm talking about?
Wait, what?
My shower curtain, hot and cold knobs. When we're playing the shower.
I know who you're talking about.
Yes.
I remember that.
Yes, you do.
Oh. So
I'll just sit here with a confused look.
We just smile and nod.
Someone was a shower curtain and someone decided to use the nozzles.
Yeah!
Yes.
I have no idea what's happening.
That was one of our adult or our late night shows.
Aha!
Late night
Oh
one.
my god. Yep.
All right.
Okay.
Yeah.
So,
I'm glad I'm not the only one.
so let's
later.
Yeah.
let's talk a little bit about how this generation 5 of Nine and Numb, how it got started. Now, if memory serves me correctly, I believe it was well, I can talk about him because he was going to be here. CJ, who was part of a Tampa troupe for a while here a couple of years ago. He had come down here to Tampa and joined Nine and Numb in Tampa here for a while and played with us at a place called Dreamhouse Theater for a while. It was CJ, it was Jerry, and I want to say it was Louie who might be joining us here tonight in just a couple of moments here. It was the three of us just happened to be talking after doing, I think it was Rocky Horror.
Yeah.
Right, Jerry? Can you back me up on that? Can you remember?
I think that's right. Yeah.
Yeah. Tell us a little more. What your perspective on that is.
Well, how it came apart was CJ and I were talking about how we wanted to do more improv, and there's nothing in. And then when we met you and started doing Rocky Horror, we realized you owned and ran a company, and so we started talking, and we ended up having a business meeting with you, and
I remember that. Yes.
One thing led to another, and we decided that we were going to start one. So we went ahead and had auditions, and a lot of these lovely folks showed up, and we cast them and we went. I
think if I remember correctly, you and I and CJ and Louie, I think there was a lady that was going to be doing some improv lessons or something in the basement of the Empire Arts Center, and I went just out of curiosity. And you guys came along and we worked with her, and that was when it just kind of went cemented. That's when we went, okay, no, we can do this. I think we can.
We could do our own thing. We can make it awesome, and we can stand on our own 2 feet and do something really awesome for North Dakota.
Yeah. Now, from my perspective, here is how it went for me. I know that we'd had a troupe in Grand Forks, 2000 with the original troupe. Then we had another one that started 2003 to 2004. No, 2002 to 2004 in Grand Forks. Then we kind of took a hiatus in the city until you guys came along in 2014 because we had gone to Fargo and Tampa and a number of other places. And I was thinking to myself, it's time for us to return to Grand Forks. And I was thinking about it. That's when I met up with you guys. I went, well, this is it then. I think we're going to try and do Nine and Numb returns in Grand Forks. Back in Black, I think is what I was going to call it. And you had you guys set up at the Fire Hall Theater there. And for our viewers here who aren't familiar with what the Fire Hall Theater is, it's a very small theater that is set in an actual old fire hall from the turn of the century. And that's not 2000, we're talking 1900. You can't find it.
You can't find it. No,
it's buried between.
Search.
It's buried between Central High School and City Hall. You cannot find it from the street.
No.
And it seats about 100, I think. At least it did in my day.
Yeah, I think it's like 103.
103.
Yeah, something like that.
Tiny.
Yeah, not very big.
Yeah, it's tiny.
And that's actually kind of part of what helped make this all work was that we, CJ and I had been doing theater at Fire Hall and had met some of you guys there too. And we were able to broker a deal with the Fire Hall to be able to use the facility as a home base, which really helped us be able to launch without having a lot of the issues of launching that people have.
And Louis is here, ladies and gentlemen. He has finally made it in. He can't hear us just yet, but he'll be waving.
Louis!
There he is.
Perfect.
What an
There
old
he is.
man.
Hey.
Louis, we're just catching up on the beginnings of Nine and Numb, the fifth generation, as we call you guys up at Grand Forks there. We were just talking about how you and Jerry and CJ and myself had gotten the troupe started back in 2014. And I was telling them about how we had met up with some lady who was going to be doing improv lessons, I think, in the basement of the Empire Arts Center. And I think you had come along for that. Is that right?
That sounds familiar, yeah.
Yeah, and then we decided at that point, you know what, we can start this troupe, I think, here in Grand Forks, make it return to Grand Forks from when we had started before. So I'll start with this now, too, since you just joined us. Louis, what have you been up to? Where you at?
Yeah.
I'm in Fargo right now.
Fargo.
Yeah, moved down here, be closer to my kid. Tired of making that fucking hour-and-a-half drive in the winter from Grand Forks to Fargo. So
Right, right. So there you go. Well, that's pretty cool. So now,
Louis, are you only showing the top half of your neck because you took the topless suggestion seriously? Where's the rest of your body?
the only one who can go to my apartment, Haley.
wow. God. So now Jerry had mentioned that you guys had auditions and stuff. Now that was I was, at the time, still living in Tampa like I am now, and so I couldn't make it up for the audition.
We zoomed you in, if I remember right. We zoomed you in.
You did bring me in for it.
Remember, you actually were at the first audition.
What's that?
You actually were at the first audition.
Yeah, he was at the
But not
first
the
audition.
second.
I
At the first
was.
audition. Yeah.
Yeah, it was scary
Yeah.
as hell. It was so scary. I remember I walked in and I was like,
It was
damn.
scary.
I got
All right.
it. Yeah, well, I mean,
Yeah,
you're
but
just,
then he
it's
was on the
intimidating, you
list
know?
stuff.
You look to your left, you look to your right, there's a lot of funny people, and you're like, I don't know that I got this. And then, and then it's you, and you're like,
girl, you
no.
were so funny. I don't think you had any worries. You were so funny.
I was terrified. I was
Your
so
comedy
terrified.
is like,
That way.
It was weird because
Oh,
we had this core group that we're so tight from all the
Yeah.
and all that.
Yeah.
So we had like this group that gelled so well together, and we never knew you or Christina even existed. And
Right.
No, it felt so weird coming in. There were like a few of us that came in together and we were like, oh wow, like look at this group of people. They're like, they have such great humor. They work together so well. I don't know if we'll fit in. And I mean, granted, now you look back and you're like, I'm so glad that I fit in and that we had this connection. But at first, like, you don't know because humor, it varies so much.
Now, I got to ask this. Carrie, how did you find out about the auditions for Nine and Numb?
Yeah, so I was in a theater class at the university in town, and they had a poster put up, and it was like auditions for this improv group. And a friend of mine who actually ended up on the team we auditioned together and we met you guys, but I was like, I can't do this. I have chemistry tests on those nights, and which granted, like, in the long run, it was a very anxious day every time that we had shows.
You know what? I'm remembering now that I definitely was at that audition because something bizarre had happened to me just before I walked in. I don't know how it happened, but I was up in Grand Forks doing something or another, and just getting ready to do the auditions with you guys. I had a rental car. I came into the parking lot, opened my car door, and I was accosted by a cameraman from the local news station who wanted to talk to me about, we hear that Nine and Numb is going to be doing auditions here in Grand Forks again. And I'm going, what? Whoa. How the hell did you even know about this?
A lot of people knew, I feel like.
So that freaked me out a little bit. I'm like, oh man, I guess there is really some interest in doing this. I didn't know that anybody had remembered Nine and Numb at that point because it had been, oh my God, 5-6 years since Nine and Numb had actually been on the stage in Grand Forks. And there was a camera from the local news station and a reporter with a microphone. We hear that Nine and Numb is doing auditions here. Could you tell us a little bit about it? I'm going, I'm in the parking lot. What?
No, I remember there were papers up, there were flyers, and we were like, let's do this. We love theater. We want to get involved, be in the community. We love laughing. So we tried it out, but a lot of people on campus, I guess, knew about it. But
I had no idea that it had gotten that far.
There were a lot of people too. I think I remember, and you guys can tell me if I'm wrong, but there were a lot of people that showed up that day for auditions.
There was a damn good turnout.
Yeah, that's why I was like, I don't got this.
Damn good turnout. So tell me a little bit about your experience auditioning for us, Megan, if you could.
Oh gosh. So I just remember being like, I only know really maybe less than a handful of people here, and I just think that I need to put myself out there because as fresh out of high school I never really had the chance to get on my shell. Like, sure, there were like high school theater, but it's not community theater, and I was too shy for that.
Definitely
honestly, the experiences, not to smoosh ass or anything, but it honestly was something that I need to at least try. And it honestly like made everything great because now I can actually fluidly talk to people without just being like, huh, but half the time it's like, huh. So, sorry.
I totally feel you on that.
Thank you.
Definitely do. Yeah, I definitely do.
Now, Megan, had you had any stage experience at all, Megan, up to that point?
So before that, oh gosh, Nine and Numb. I actually think didn't I get introduced because of Rocky?
I think you were our Columbia that year.
No, I wasn't. In my 18th year of life, in my first year of Rocky, I was actually a transvestite in the show.
You were a tranny.
I was one of the helping hands.
That's right.
And I remember CJ, because like Megan was dumb backstage in Rocky Horror, but it was the show that meant my life. But not to drag it on too long, but I met CJ and I met Jerry, and sorry, I don't remember who else. I blocked out a lot of things.
There were a lot of people, different casts from Rocky Horror over the years.
And it's everyone that I met, CJ was just like, hey, do you want to do this improv thing? You're pretty funny. I think you should definitely try out. And I was just like, yeet. But I might be remembering that wrong also. So,
right.
Sorry.
However it was, you ended up there, and it was great.
It was perfect.
Haley, now I have a story about you from the night that you auditioned. That still sticks to me to this day, and I hope it doesn't embarrass you too much. I'll edit it out if we have to. But I walked into the theater after speaking with the local news and doing an interview about this big deal that Nine and Numb was back in town and we were going to be doing all this great stuff. And the room was filled with people. And then I had people get up on stage and do stuff. And then I saw you and I went, oh man, she's really good. She's good at this. And I looked at my notes there and I looked at your audition sheet. And as my eyes went up, I saw an ankle bracelet.
Yeah, not embarrassed about it. Not at all.
That was, I have to say, in all of the years that I had done Nine and Numb up to that point, That was a first. I had never seen that before. It was so much so that I thought, well, now that is an interesting piece of jewelry. What is she wearing? It's got a light. So that's my story. We don't have to get into exactly what the reasons were, but it was just...
No.
It was one of the most interesting moments I've ever had doing improv in my life, especially auditions, because I've held dozens of auditions over the last 20 years, but that was the first time I'd ever seen somebody nail it on stage. And then I looked down, I'm like, oh, I hope that she can be in the troupe, and I hope that she's not just out on furlough or something.
Oh my God. No.
Like I said, I don't want to embarrass you, but that was so interesting to me.
No. But I hit it very well during
You
nailed
the
it.
rest of the part.
I thought it was a chunky ankle bracelet. I was like, damn,
Yeah.
so in with the times. Like, that's so stylish.
Yeah, super
That's all I was
stylish.
thinking of.
No.
It was so funny, though. I mean, like I said, I don't want to embarrass you, but boy, that's such a unique moment for me. In the history of Nine and Numb, that's one of those top 10s. If I were to go through all of my memories of Nine and Numb that I've had in 20 years, that's definitely a fucking top 10. Right there is that one. I'm just like, damn, girl, get it. So that was a lot of fun. I enjoyed the hell out of seeing that. So that was great. So now, generally speaking, you all kind of had the same experience, I think it was. We brought you up on stage, had you do some stuff and what have you. Was anybody worried that they weren't going to get in? Really? Really? That many of you? 3 of you? Were that worried? Really? Well, I can say this, obviously, since you made it in, you all did great. And it was just, I had been in Tampa for so long at that point, and I had been seeing all of these other improv troupes around the city here in Tampa, and I had had so many other players and stuff that I didn't know what I was going to be running into. And then I was reminded in that moment that, oh my God, Grand Forks has so much fucking talent. And I was just thrown completely by seeing you guys on stage. I was going, this is going to work. This is going to work. These guys absolutely know what the hell they're doing. And so that was a real watershed moment for me. So, yeah. So let's talk a little bit about this. Now, after the auditions happened, I took off. I went home to Florida. And you guys hold the distinction of being just about the only Nine and Numb troupe that I've ever had where I was not in any way involved with how you guys went. It was basically kind of I handed it over to, 3 of you guys there, and I said, you go ahead, you do what you got to do your thing, call me if you need any help, if you need any graphics or anything. And then I just I did that with it and walked away from it so that it would just be its own thing. So any stories you guys have to tell from this point forward are stuff I don't know anything about. So tell me, what was the process like getting ready to do your first show?
Oh, I didn't think we'd ever have one. I thought it was all for fun, and then it was like we're having a show, and it was like, oh God, okay, I guess it's happening. Okay.
Yeah, that's.
Oh yeah. Well, do you guys remember being upstairs and being like, just doing stupid crap just to get us energized?
I remember trying to remember the alphabet. Like, what word am I gonna have to know? A, B, C, D.
Well, do you remember
do I know
you
what
running
comes after
around in the
G?
ferry?
I just had to
Exactly.
clear my mind as much as possible because it's just so much going on up here most of the time. Like after we kind of disbanded, everything sort of fizzled out, and I'm just like, nowadays I don't know where. Like honestly, it was just emptying your mind, and now it's just so hard to actually sit there and need to empty your mind.
I think the biggest thing for especially those of us who were in other theater productions beforehand, you typically have a script, you know what every other character is supposed to be. But I think the biggest and I think the funnest thing about it was getting to know everyone, like Cole, Megan, Carrie, Louie, Jerry, Kaylee, everyone. Just figuring out our own vibe with everything and figuring out everyone had really strong strengths and no one really had strong weaknesses, but the parts where people could fill in were the most and that's where the games really came in, and that was a lot of fun. But it was really weird coming from a non-script portion for theater. So I think it was a good experience for those of us who had just done
It
script.
was amazing.
Definitely were certain people that had special chemistry together. Like,
Yeah.
like Christina and Carrie.
Oh
tell-
god, their
Oh, yeah.
chemistry was almost scary. It was like,
That was
DJ
great.
Carrie probably had the best, if I said it, say so.
That's a
Yeah.
great
I
segue.
agree.
That's a great segue because I want to talk about something that I'd never seen with my own eyes, but heard so much about from not only fans up there, but also from the rest of the team here. I want to talk about Carrie's Corner.
Oh my god, I love that!
I loved that.
What
I
was
loved
that all
that.
about?
That was
Describe
so
that
much
for
fun.
us.
Okay.
Continue, whoever was gonna talk.
So we were playing a game called Good, Bad, and Ugly, right? Which is a basic improv game, and we decided it'd be fun if Carrie was like, I'll host it. I'm like, okay, we'll let you try to host it, and she totally took over and made like this like Oprah Winfrey like show
yes
thing.
it was
And
amazing.
she'd walk around the audience and she'd like get all these prompts from the audience for us, and it became its own character, like an SNL thing. Like it transcended the troupe. It became this own.
Really?
It was amazing.
She was like an Oprah and Ellen like mixture.
It was,
Oh,
it was
really?
just like
I-
literally a light
honestly,
switch.
I loved it the most because I feel like watching you guys on stage sometimes, I was like, wow, they're so great. Like if we can get the cast, or I mean not the cast, but the audience involved, like we've got such great team chemistry. So I don't know, like personally, I felt really good, like going out and talking to the people and being like, what's your problem? Oh my God, I'm so sorry. Like this is so great. Give it to me, sister. And then you'd open it up and you guys would be like on stage like, oh, this is what I would do. And then you'd get some crazy stuff out like, I would do this. I would probably go like steal stuff and like murder somebody. This is great. And you were like, oh, yeah. All right.
Was this a recurring character for you, Carrie?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
You did it
The host
repeatedly.
was always the host.
But I
yes.
mean, honestly,
It was
it's
so
like
good.
the audience, and you've got such a great team that can come up with stuff that I just felt like a segue of like audience, team, how do we get everybody to connect? Because you go to improv shows sometimes and you feel like there's such a disconnect between the audience and the members. I mean, like you go to improv shows now and I'm like, I wish there was something, and just, I don't know, it felt, I don't know. I feel weird saying that.
No,
Like,
that's
it felt so good to be able to segue.
It was literally one of the only games.
You made that show.
Carrie did so good at this. It was one of the only games we ever did that got renamed from the actual game that is supposed to be called Carrie's Corner. And
We
so
totally made it.
referred to it as Good, Bad, and we just said it's Carrie's Corner, and then we just get up there and we know people we'd say you're gonna be the good whatever. And we get up there and she'd go. It was awesome.
That is amazing. That is so fun to hear. Now, Cole, I got a question for you. Did you have a favorite game that you used to play on stage?
Cool.
Oh man, I liked the one where one person would read the lines, and then the other person would fill them in.
Actor's
So
Nightmare.
one person would have set lines, right? And then the other person got to change the lines. So
Actor's
it'd be like a
Nightmare.
show, you know, it'd be like some famous theater show. You'd be reading the script, and then I would like playing the role of just throwing curveballs, right? And creating something entirely different. And then they had to still stick to the script. So it made it this awkward, crazy dichotomy. That was probably my favorite game.
Like jump because Cole, he had the most creative mind that I could, like some of the stuff that he came up with was just great. And it was just so odd. Like some of the stuff, like it fit with it, but it was so off the wall that it just made you like, you had to actually reread the script to make sure that it actually wasn't about that. Because it was perfect, but it was just completely out of the field. Like it was great.
That is fantastic. Kaylee, did you have a favorite game?
I actually, the one that we rode in the car.
Oh,
That one was my favorite.
Hitchhiker.
It was my favorite, even though I love the ABC game. But like that one was my favorite because everybody was involved and it was very fast pacing.
Yeah.
And a lot of
Just think.
a lot of crazy things came out of people's mouths, and we had to react to those ones.
Robert, how about you?
My favorite one, honestly, I just love sitting. So this is one I was never involved with, but maybe I was involved with once, but watching Louis and a few of the other cast members do was it Late Night Salesman, or basically
Oh my God.
Yes!
Late Night Salesman
Oh, that was
with
fun.
Louis.
Yes!
It was
Yes.
bananas.
Home Shopping Network.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was good.
I can't remember were you guys trying to make a sundae? There was one that was you guys attempted to make food. With
The double hand ones?
Helping
The ones
Hands.
where I controlled
Helping
Louis' hands
Yeah,
and I
yeah,
just
yeah,
smushed
that
it
one.
all over him.
But we had one night where we like mixed it, where it was like the questions with like the sales. Like, oh my God. I can't remember the mixture between those two. Like those two were by
I
far.
forgot about that one. Yeah, that one was
sit
great.
back and watch because the characters and the moments were great.
Nice. That's awesome to hear. Jerry, have you got a favorite at all we could talk about?
Honestly, I'd have to say my favorite moments it was bouncing with CJ off when we do New Choice. New Choice.
Yep.
Just CJ and I just going nuts, and then whoever was doing the dinger just constantly like interrupting us like over and over and over.
Wait, was that Change It?
Yeah,
Same
change
thing?
it.
Change
Yeah.
It? Yeah.
Change
Yeah,
it. Yeah, we call it Well Actually here in Tampa.
They
We
call
call
it
it Well.
up here in Wichita, so that's why I was like,
Yeah.
Was that the one where we changed the theme, or was that the one where you just
You
adjusted?
had to go back. The thing
Yeah,
you
just
did,
change
you had
the
to
choice.
change.
So yeah, we're
That's
just
right. Okay,
we'd be
that
doing a
one-
scene, and
Yeah.
you just go New Choice, or change it, and then we'd have to like immediately change it on the spot.
That's right. Yep.
And
Those
I
were the
What you
ones-
said or did.
It felt like no matter what scene we were in, somehow CJ's always ended up on my back or something.
Seriously though, I felt like such an audience member when I would watch that because you guys were so good. Like you would just go back and forth, a few of you, and it was like, honestly, like I don't know how your brains work that fast, but it was always just so funny. And I honestly was like, I should just take a seat. Like this is hilarious. I don't even care right now. I don't want to participate. Like you keep doing you.
Times where you like wanted to just watch the people play because they were so like charismatic in the moment, and you were just like, I can't. It's like putting on the TV remote. It's just like I can't.
Right. And I was like, Kevin, CJ, Jerry, Louis, like Cole was always like one of my favorite like dramatic
Yes.
Oh my
like
God.
people.
Yeah.
Like
Like if there was
so much
ever a
fun.
moment where you weren't sure what was gonna happen, and you're like, "Oh crap, we're losing him." Cole would
Yeah.
just,
He would just
he
come
wasn't
right
in
back
the
and just
scene,
Yeah.
and he wasn't
Yes.
introduced as a player. He'd be like, "Hey, let's do this. Like, let's go. Something just happened. My mom was abducted by aliens. What are you gonna do?" And you were like, "I don't know, but we're doing it, okay?"
But no, definitely Cole definitely had that like the dramatic effect
Yes.
to a lot of things, which was amazing. Which
Oh,
was
imaginary.
awesome. It was super fun.
Well,
Let your
I've got
kids
another
imagine.
I've got another question for you guys here. Now, in the early days of Nine and Numb, when we started in 2000 and then ran through about 2004 or 5, the first time that Nine and Numb was in Grand Forks, we used to have a hell of a problem with the audience members not wanting to respond when we'd ask a question. Now, was that still a thing with you guys up there, or?
A little bit.
Yeah.
Sometimes.
Yeah.
Getting
And then you
mixed
just move on.
reactions here.
Yeah, so I think the
Depending on
biggest
who
Go ahead,
was
Robert.
there,
Robert, go ahead.
sometimes they bring our friends.
Okay.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Robert.
So I think that's kind of what stemmed from Carrie's corner
Uh-huh.
was because when Carrie would literally get out in the audience, like it was definitely like when CJ, whoever was like hosting the night, would try and point out, but Carrie would literally walk up to the person and practically
There you go. That would do it.
But they would get in their
She did
face.
not ask for consent. She just
Yeah.
might.
Right.
Throw the microphone in their face and go, "What's your name?"
Yeah.
Yeah, and then they have to
And I think-
answer. Otherwise, they look like an idiot. So it's kind of.
Or we'd have a lot of participation, but it would be a lot of the same things. And I mean, now that I've watched The Office, it makes sense why you'd throw out like Dwight Schrute as something. But at the time, it was like, okay, 50 people throwing out the same thing. Like, let's get some diversity in there. I don't know what that is, okay? And then it would be like Louie or Jerry or somebody being like, okay, just act really uncomfortable and talk about like sheep or lamb or whatever it is that he does.
Yeah.
So what kind of crowd demographic did you guys have in Grand Forks? Because like I said, in our earlier days, we were all college students. It was nothing but students from the University of North Dakota. So what was your crowd makeup like at the fire hall during those days?
For the adult shows, it was more college.
Right.
For regular shows, I would say
More middle-aged.
30s to 40s, maybe.
Yeah.
There was some old people there. Yeah.
It was a mixture because the nice thing about having the contract with Fire Hall was that we were able to promote shows. We promote our shows from other shows. So we would go do little teasers and stuff at shows and get them involved. We pulled audience from all over the town to see a show, and they go, "Oh wait, I should come. I should just stay after and watch the Nine and Numb show, or I should go this day and see this." So
right. Well, that's cool. That's good to hear because we had been pulling in crowds, like I said, that were all from the university at the time. So anytime we asked for a suggestion from the audience, it was always like the most unbelievably disgusting thing you've ever heard in your life. It was just, proctologist this, gynecologist that. Did you guys ever find that the Grand Forks in particular has got that kind of a bent to them where they really want to hear the adult stuff? Or
Yes.
At the adult shows mainly.
Yeah.
Not saying all the time, but
I felt like it. Sorry.
No, you go.
Go ahead, Carrie.
I felt like it was, for me, I always felt like it was always really out of left field. Like it was stuff that I didn't expect. And then suddenly I'd be like, oh, okay. Okay, I did not expect that. I don't really know what that is. Somebody
Or
help.
something that was a really boring ass premise.
Yeah, no, seriously. It'd be like, I want you to be my nail salon lady that wears purple all the time and loves books. And you're like, shit, okay.
It was specific or really boring and bland, and then you had to take the boring thing and make it exciting. That was a challenge when they gave you a really shitty suggestion.
It's better to take the boring suggestion than the very specific niche thing. Yeah. Because you could work with the boring thing.
You can expand on it.
Yeah.
Well, that's what I liked really about like the dream game is that we all worked in a collective, and it was all just really like it was like a dream every single time that we played it because it was just so askewed from reality.
Yeah, it was
afterwards you stepped after.
I think that one was the most fun game because we all got to play together.
That one was awkward because there was so much going on.
Weird.
That was the most awkward one.
Sometimes I think we made people think their day was a nightmare.
You remember that guy who was like, "Yeah, no, I went and got a wrestling tattoo." Okay.
Nice. So now you guys seem to be like you're a pretty tight-knit group, even though you've been away for a while. Then would you guys call yourselves a tight-knit group at the time, or?
At the time, the chemistry was unbelievable. I was like, I literally don't know these people, but I would stab a man for them.
We would typically almost all of us go to karaoke nights.
Yes. Oh my god!
Oh yeah,
karaoke nights really connected.
Karaoke nights. Robin Guys and Longhouse Saloon.
I was driving by the tavern the other night, and I was just like, I remember those days. And then Louie would have to drive me home when I snuck a little too many drinks.
You guys, I'm actually a karaoke DJ.
Hey.
I like do that for my friend's business every once in a while. So I sing karaoke all of the time.
Hey man,
that's lit.
Yeah, but I always think of you guys.
I think that made us better on stage because almost every night of the week, one of us was somebody else from the group. We were almost always.
Always singing.
So yeah, well, you kind of cut out there, but we hung out. We hung out after without the rehearsals, but also during rehearsals when we were practicing, everyone was very dedicated to the craft. They really wanted to do a good job, be better. So it made rehearsing very fun. It also made it really good for the group because we were able to build chemistry much faster and we got tight because everybody was very dedicated to putting on a good product. And it was
awesome.
just a lot of fun. It was great.
Right. It felt like, I mean, when Sunday came around, I think that's the day that we did our practice. It was like, you need to set aside time. Like, you need to be there for your team. You guys got to work together. It felt like a show every Sunday when you were doing it. I mean, yeah, like you were still just as anxious getting on stage working with people because you wanted to make sure that you were doing your best, you're doing your best as a group, but also having fun. I mean, I loved every second of working with you guys. And then doing karaoke, like I hadn't done karaoke before. I suck at it. It's still true. But I mean, it was great to find a group of people in the community that, I mean, we were all so different, living, you know, different worlds or whatever, but finding a common ground and learning about each other. I feel so fortunate to have.
Now, I remember I flew up one time to actually do a show with you guys. If I remember correctly, I came up from Tampa.
Yeah, you did. You stepped on a whole bunch of Mousetraps.
That's right. We did Mousetraps at Grand Forks for that one.
If I remember. I was not at that one.
Where'd you?
Remember that.
Oh.
Well, I was in Chicago.
Well, just working with you guys on that one night, performing with you guys was just a mind blower for me because you guys hadn't been together for that long. And I flew up to come and do a show, and I was expecting to be a little bit ragtag, quite honestly, because I didn't know much about what was going to be happening. And when I got on stage in front of the audience there, you guys were a well-oiled machine already, and I was like, oh, well, shit. All right, this is going to be a breeze. These guys already know what they're doing and having a good – and you guys had such incredible chemistry. It was just – I wish I had done more shows with you guys than just the one, and that would have been so much fun. But, of course, 2,000 miles away, and I had my own Nine and Numb that I had to work with as well, or else I would have been there more often.
I do remember this one show that Kelly and I did, or Kelly was there for, and it was when we were starting this first little game called Mousetrap.
Yeah.
And when we were selecting who was going to play it, little teenage Megan decided to be on someone saying, do you want any volunteers? And I was just like, yeah, I guess I'll do it. And I was like, okay, who else is going to go ahead and step on Mousetraps? And I'm like, hey, what the fuck?
Yeah, that game is a little advanced. That's something that you have to be doing for
That's
years.
That's where you're blindfolded, right?
Yeah.
And you said, I remember that. I was scared shitless. We were on stage for that one time, and I think it was, Cole, you were with me, maybe somebody else, and it was like, I just remember I was having so much fun that I didn't care about, I mean, I cared about the audience, but I was also like, this is so great, but like, if I fall on my ass, I don't care.
Well, to give credit where credit's due, like I've been in a troupe up here in Wichita for 4 years called Say What, and they
exciting.
Me and one of the other members of the troupe are the resident Mousetrappers. So every time we have a show, we do the Mousetrap, and I think every day watching Kelly and learning from Kelly about how to navigate those, so that we always without
it's a trick.
Yes. So thank you, Kelly.
No problem, man. We have been doing that one in our early years. We've been doing that, and we still do it to this day. Okay, Kaylee's got to go. But we've been doing that still to this day here in Tampa. Well, not to this day because of the Corona thing, but when we were on stage, we were still doing that here to this day. And I try to teach it to new cast members that rotate in here in Tampa. And I have to let them know, okay, look, here's the trick. You got to take the mousetrap when it's brand new, and you got to hold on to this thing and just sit there and do this for like an hour to loosen it up, or else it'll break one of your toes. Yeah, and I don't know if I ever gave you guys that advice or not. I can't remember if I said it.
No.
But you're supposed to loosen them.
Yes.
Good to know.
Also, which part of my foot is the best part to try to feel for?
Get it in the meat in the back, and then curl your toes as you're walking.
Because it makes the audience goes nuts when the thing sticks to your foot and you're okay because you get that just initial, and you're okay, but the audience is just going, ah, ah, ah.
So Kelly, I was wondering if I could bring up my funny little story regarding that.
Sure.
As Columbia in
A Rocky Horror thing? Sure, go ahead.
So this is a little bit of embarrassing on my part. So I accidentally revealed myself during one of our last show or practices before the show in Rocky Horror Picture Show, and Kelly made me a little salty. He was giggling a little too much, and so we had a show the next week after that before he left, and he and I were supposed to play Mousetrap. And I was so salty. He and I were playing, and I was just like, you have to crawl. And it snapped right on your dick. It's one of my greatest petty revenges.
Yeah. People still do that to me to this day. They tell me to walk
Didn't
to
we
crawl.
all have that moment though
People
where we were
still
like, I'm gonna
snap.
set this person up for something big,
I
and
did
they're gonna
that
have to be
very
damn
on
creative.
purpose, Kelly. And I told my coworkers that story, and they were just like, and I was just like, yeah, right.
Yeah, it happens.
I have a question.
Yeah, what's that?
Okay, who remembers the practice where we were all sitting in the bleachers? I want to know what this game is called. We were all sitting in the bleachers and we shut the lights off, and I think we had to close our eyes, and they were like, it was something without words.
What?
Was there a game without words? Cole, yeah?
It would go dark, and then it would come light again, and then we would all be in like a different, and we'd be frozen.
Slideshow.
Maybe
that
that one. Maybe that one.
Slideshow.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
remember the first couple of seconds that we were practicing that, and I was like, I don't get it. But it ended up being one of my favorite games, and I remember that. And I remember, Cole, you and CJ would be at the bottom, and you would make shit up, and we were all like, I don't know how to do
Yeah,
that.
we were narrating. We
What?
narrated.
That was
Yeah.
amazing. And like
Yeah,
that
that
time
was
we went
fun.
to Egypt.
Hey, Cole, what was going on in your head during those times? I mean, we know that you're creative. We know that you're like
I
fast-witted,
don't
but
know if I want to
mean,
go into his head.
Yes.
I do. I want to know. I want to know in your head why you were like, I want my cast members to try and recreate this.
I don't know. I have a lot of deep, buried wants about reality that I want to come true, so I make those come true.
Did you
on the
ever
stage.
have anything that you didn't get to come true that you were like, in all my time on an improv troupe, shoot, I just spilled water.
This is
I
opening
wanted
a
this to
door.
happen.
This is like
Lots of
Pandora's
stuff.
box.
Oh,
Oh,
God,
lots of
that's
stuff.
funny.
Lots of stuff I wish I could have made happen, but I made a fair amount of impact. I remember the centipedes one. I don't remember
Yeah.
what exactly was happening, but there was definite tension between me and CJ because I was definitely taking it too far, but I just kept going, and then he eventually was like, fuck it, and joined me. So
There were so many times where we
something
were
about
like, he's got to
centipedes
stop.
infecting brains and
Yeah.
MK Ultra,
There was
LSD.
a few times there were
government
just
conspiracy.
like, okay,
Yeah.
what's happening? When's it gonna end?
Right?
What's
But he
going
kept
on?
going.
And who is gonna intervene?
And
Honestly,
CJ
you
also-
taught me
CJ
a
kept on being
lot.
like, let's scale it down. Trying to scale it down.
Yeah,
I was like,
he's
Yeah.
like, bring it back.
Just like kind
Bring
of
it back,
looking
bro.
at me, like kind of be like, hey, I don't know if you can do baseball signs. Like, what?
Honestly, I feel like
Read.
that's what
But it
made,
still was really fun.
yeah, and
So-
I feel like that's what made audience members
Mhm.
want to come back, is that we had such a good like humor, but then we always took it almost a step too far, where they were like, I don't know what to expect. Like, this could get even funnier than it already is, or we could stay here, but it was a comfortable point where we were like, we've got Cole who's gonna come in with something that's like
Some spicy.
something
Spicy.
spicy.
Okay, now, guys, I have a question for you on this now. Since Nine and Numb has ended in Grand Forks, have you guys utilized your improv training in your careers, in your life, in any way? Can somebody tell me how you've done that? Megan, we'll start with Megan.
So I got a really good job, and my boss loves me.
Okay.
That's how that got in. And I got married, so that's how also
You improved your way into getting
That's right.
married.
I trapped him because remember I kept on trying to bring him into shows, and he was just like, no. It's like, okay. But I
Okay.
stopped him.
Cole, tell me, have you used improv in any way, shape, or form since you've left?
Oh, big time, big time. As a teacher, I'm not very good at keeping order. So what I figured out I could do is be funny enough to get the kids to respect me. And that's how I taught. And I pulled off good scores for my 7th grade state finals in Arizona. I was actually living in Arizona for a while. I didn't even know I was right next to you, Carrie. I stayed away. But I would pull out characters all the time when I was teaching them and taught them just cringy rhymes, and they would act like I was just the most embarrassing dad joke ass man ever. But what they liked is when I would pull out my character Billiam Johannes, who was like an insane British master, and I would be very strict, and I would slam my rulers down on their desks, and I broke my ruler on this kid's desk once and scared the shit out of him. But everyone was laughing, so then he realized it was okay, and it made him feel more accepted because he was part of the joke. And
Dude, I was that child. You would do stuff on stage where it was like.
But I would say it was worth it because everyone else was laughing. So
holy hell!
Yeah.
Robert, how about you?
Teacher, but
Robert, how about you? Have you used it?
Yeah, definitely. I think the biggest. So I could say obviously anytime I'm dealing with any passengers or any kind of thing like that, but really the biggest thing that it helped me was I did more or less improv and horrible dad jokes before, but I think the group really opened me up, and it was just really kind of like a cathartic release where I could just be myself more often around everyone, and it has really came in use dealing with passengers and stuff too. So it's definitely helped in the job, but it's just overall helped in life in general.
Well, that's great to hear. Now, I've got one more question here for you guys. So this was a little off topic, but it's a different one. Can you tell me, just one at a time here, what is the craziest thing that you ever saw happen either on stage or backstage during your time in Nine and Numb?
Oh, I got this.
Okay. Louis got it.
And you were at the show, Kelly.
I was.
Yes.
Okay.
It was me, Kevin, and Mark.
Okay.
We were doing Three-Headed Broadway Star.
Oh my God.
And we brought this girl up from the audience, and she had the most boring job in the world. And then she decided to say she was a stripper instead. So somewhere during the song, when it was Mark's turn, all he did was and motorboated.
Mark was such a clown.
Oh, he
I
was.
loved him.
Good.
I loved him.
His energy was amazing.
Yeah.
Wow. I was there for this?
Yeah.
Oh,
You let
God.
her off.
I did? Oh, well, that
You
sounds like
died.
something I would.
Most
likely.
I don't know if you go on to the Nine and Numb YouTube channels, about 4 or 5 of our shows are actually on there.
Yeah, your shows are on there. Yes,
Our full shows are still on there. Yeah.
I should actually watch them and see how funny I actually was.
Don't. Sometimes I watch them and I'm like, oh God.
Really?
It's tough.
I
Judges.
usually
Plug though,
only
Louis.
have people watch the one where I smack Robert.
Yeah.
The slap.
Oh.
The slap. Yeah. That
It was
the infamous one.
the theme change one, right? And he turned
where Mark was the
and
director.
he changed it to
Senor!
a Spanish opera. And
Theme change was awesome.
It was a pajama. It was the pajama one.
I loved the pajama one.
Oh my God, do you remember at the pajama one where you know who
That's on-
the tall one? And I
That
was
was on
wearing my bird onesie, and she was jokingly going ahead and looking in my bird onesie, and I was like, please don't, I'm naked under there. And everyone in the audience heard this, and my parents were in the audience, and my father just looks down in disappointment. I'm like,
Dude, that happened to me so many times. My parents were like, I'm coming to the show tonight. And I was like, please don't. Okay.
It was so sweet because my mom
this is the adult show. Let's not.
It was so funny because my mom was so supportive, and she loves every single one of you. And it was so funny that she would go to every single show, and my father would be sitting there just bouncing his leg, being like, what's the mission? I need to go outside for a cigarette. I'm sorry. That's besides the point.
That's great.
Yeah, my parents already know how perverted I am.
I got it from them.
It's too late. It's just
Got
too
it
late.
from them. So I mean, I don't know what else they want from me.
God.
The only show my parents attended was the adult show, and I specifically remember I was standing right there, and it was so awkward. Jerry comes up, and my mom thought it was a little too far. Jerry comes up to my mom and goes like, "Did you like it?" And she just gave him a death glare. She just
She's
stared
looked
at
at me.
Jerry.
She's like,
Yeah. You remember that, Jerry?
I do.
You
Oh
do?
my god.
Oh my God, that's
Oh, that's
funny.
great.
Thank you guys so much for joining us for this episode of Nine and Numb at Home. This has been an absolute blast, and we will get this up on YouTube as soon as humanly possible. I'll let you guys know when it comes up. And so again, thank you all so much. I'm going to stop the recording here, and then we'll just say our goodbyes right now. How about that? Goodbye, everybody, and then I'll just
Bye,
go
you guys.
Thanks for joining us.
Missed you guys.
Nine
You
and Numb at
guys
Home.
all look so beautiful.
Bye-bye, guys.